Jesse 504 here, bringing you week 1 feature match for the LBT. This week we've got Luke versus Monster. Just a great match. I don't remember 100% what happened to it, but it was, I heard, very funny, fun to watch match, so I'm gonna do that. Um, I got both of the sets. This isn't like finals or playoffs last season, but let's just go ahead and look. So we see Luke's team that he brought. He brought his Ditto, his weakness policy, Rock Polish Groudon. I think that was sort of solid. I'm kind of the moveset choice sort of surprises me when he has great options in when he has great options such as Heat Crash for Fire Stab and Precipice Blaze for Ground Stab. Why he would go with um, Lava Plume and Earthquake, especially when regular Groudon's special attack is very bad. Or not very bad, but just like compared to its physical attack, it's nothing special. And then he has his signature Banette, Destiny Bond, Taunt, Knockoff Shadow Sneak. Pretty simple stuff from Luke. He does this a lot. And then Banded Lycanroc, CC Accelerock, Drill Run, and Sucker Punch seems solid again. We have his Golisopod, Emergency Exit, Aquajet, Knockoff Liquidation, First Impression. So a lot of priority on that thing. And then lastly, the Zarude with U-Turn, Solar Blade, Darkest Lariat, and Grassy Glide. I feel like one of these mons didn't come and the Rillaboom came. I think I have like a prototype team. I'm pretty sure that in the end, Golisopod doesn't come in favor of Rillaboom, just for the terrain, so Grassy Glide works out for the Zarude. But up next, let's go ahead and look at Monster's team. Monster bringing his Galvantula, Landorus, Cinderace, Dragapult, Metagross, and Galarian Weezing. I really like what he did this draft, obviously. And this week he noticed that Luke's hazard removal was sort of really bad. It was really only Skarmory, which didn't have a great matchup against him. So he brought Webb's Galvantula, pretty much a hazard lead. Toxic as well. He brought his Landorus special with sort of a set that I would somewhat bring last week, last season, I mean. Grass Knot, Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Rock Polish, but this thing, I think, it has Rock Polish instead of, like, U-Turn on it, but I think both work out really well here. He has his Cinderace with U-Turn, Pyro Ball, Iron Head, and Gunk Shot. I'm not sure why he needs Iron Head and Gunk Shot. I feel like Gunk Shot was just better pretty much every time here. Then he has a Sub-DD Dragapult. I feel like this thing can really take advantage of some mons on Luke's team. So he also brought Fire Blast on it because that's really all that stopped Dragon Darts was just on Luke's team, pretty much non-existent. But I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Luke has like he has a Skarmory, yeah. Up next is Monster's Galarian Weezing with Defog, Toxic Spikes, Flamethrower, and Strange Steam. So he's bringing some T-Spike action as well because Luke has very limited hazard control. And then lastly, we have his Metagross with Bullet Punch, Ice Punch, Meteor Mash, and Thunder Punch. So a pretty solid Metagross for sure. I think that this thing has a fantastic matchup, especially once Groudon goes down. I think this thing can just win. But I'll bring you guys to the battle. So it turns out that I did misremember, and in fact Luke's paste was accurate. Sorry about that, but he does bring the 6 and the 6. So obviously I think Monster is 100% of the time, from my perspective, leading Galvantula here. And so Luke sort of has ways around that. He could lead Golisopod, but when you know it's a Galvantula lead, I feel like Groudon is a really solid anti-lead. So and Luke does do the Groudon lead into the Galvantula. And he can pretty much just safely get up a Rock Polish, although Monster having Toxic is real good for him here, pretty much stopping the Galvantula. And then that thing can get webs up because it does have that sash, but actually it doesn't even get knocked down to its sash, which is really cool. Yeah, and then just gets EQ'd and dies, and so now Monster is somewhat on the back foot, but he can just go out into his wheezing, and Rock Slide I think was a misplay from Luke. I'm pretty sure Lava Plume just does more there every time, as Monster just gets a bunch of toxic spikes up, and Groudon only has really 2 more turns, so it has to switch out. And we see it, the Zarude not get poisoned. For once, Leaf Guard does something. For once in its existence. That was real nice to see, but Sun does fade now, and Zarude kind of has to U-turn. And then we see the Ditto come out onto the Weezing. I think with all the hazards that Monster has, it's going to be real tough to sort of use Ditto effectively this week. I think he was just hoping that this Weezing was carrying Defog, which it was. So that was solid for Luke. That was solid for Luke for sure. But Monster is able to nail a nice confusion, and the Poison's going to start wearing this Ditto down, so it has to switch out into the Bayonet. As Monster just gets a strange steam off on that, and then Bayonet Megas, and it goes for a knockoff, getting rid of that Weezing's Black Sludge, and Weezing just lays out more toxic spikes. Bayonet goes for a nice taunt. That was some nice prep, but Monster pretty much reads it. I think he didn't want 2 layers up, so as the Bayonet goes for Destiny Bond, Monster goes for Iron Head. So Luke basically just went for a negative priority move, or not a negative priority move, but he just went for a regular knockoff. So that kind of didn't work out for Monster, unfortunately. But Monster has to switch out here into the Golisopod. There's nothing that really threatens, there's nothing a Golisopod can do to a Weezing, but Weezing just goes for a strange steam, knocks the Golisopod into emergency exit, and out comes the Ditto again. So unfortunately, Monster's going to have his T-Spikes defogged away, but actually Luke just chooses to go for a strange steam, pretty much accepting that there's going to be T-Spikes up on the field for the remainder of the game, if that is the case. But actually he just chooses to go right out into his Groudon, wanting to hopefully get one final defog off. And here we see the Primal Groudon in range of the Metagross with an Ice Punch. And so it's now a 4-4 game, somehow, really, by the skin of his teeth. But Darkest Lariat does a chunk. Metagross goes for another Ice Punch, knocking out the Zarude. And there's not really a lot that Luke can sort of do. Golisopod comes out Aiken first impression, so Monster can just go safely into the Weezing to eat that first impression, as the Life Orb and poison damage will just rack up on this Golisopod. Monster can pretty much get a kill right now. With the strange steam, Weezing can get its kill, and then he sort of has to go Lycanroc or Ditto, both of which are solidly walled. He just goes into the Lycanroc, which Excel Rocks and takes it out, banded. But then Metagross can fire off a Bullet Punch, and it's a speed tie. But I think Monster just elects to go Landorus and eats 45 from an Excel Rock, and Rock Polishes will eat another 45. I think that was potentially a throw from Monster, because now out comes the Ditto. But Luke gets the... I think if Luke had been more patient with that, then potentially it could have been a throw. But Dragapult can kind of just do a good job at walling the Landorus. And now Lycanroc is pretty much just going to die to a Metagross Bullet Punch. So going for Sucker, though, that's big. Now Monster has to win a speed tie or just go Landorus and pretty much just win from there. So now it comes down really to a speed tie. I think if Monster hadn't Rock Polished there, it could have been different, but Monster does win the speed tie with the Bullet Punch, getting his kill, and winning the week 1-0. That was way too close for comfort. I think that the rock polish was definitely a potential misplay. Um, the Lycan Rock potentially had the reverse sweep. If Luke had went for defog into the wheezing as opposed to strange steam, I think he had that game. But thankfully for Monster, he did not, and Monster is able to win week 1, 1-0. But I think Luke played really well given what his team was, so it'll be nice to see how these two both do in the rest of the regular season. But until next time, Jesse504 out. Peace.